Hey everyone, it's Alex, and I'm back immediately after I filmed my video about the Governor's Awards winners for the Oscars, and I'm going to be telling you about why I'm not going to be covering the People's Choice Awards anymore. I've been covering the People's Choice Awards every year since it launched on my channel, and I would even showcase how I myself would vote for the People's Choice Awards, because we, the regular people, get to vote not only on what gets nominated, but what wins. I never showed my pre-nomination voting because I didn't really feel like filming that, because I didn't know what I would want to nominate until I saw what was actually on there for pre-nominations. But I would show what I voted for because I wanted you all to see what I was specifically rooting for. Now, the People's Choice Awards haven't been around for a while. They last aired in January 2017, and they aired as they had since the mid-1970s on CBS. But then the news came out that the People's Choice Awards had fallen to their lowest ratings ever, and a few months later it was announced that the People's Choice Awards were moving from CBS to E! E!, of course, is more of an entertainment-based channel. They're probably best known for Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and they also have like their red carpet shows hosted by Ryan Seacrest at the Oscars, the Golden Globes, etc. So I guess I can see why the People's Choice Awards would move from a network like CBS to a network like E! Because that's more for pop culture stuff, but that isn't necessarily why I'm not covering them anymore. Now, this year's People's Choice Awards will be held on November 11th on E! And the first round of voting is currently going underway. The nominations came out a few weeks ago, and the first round will end, I think, next week, and then the finalists will be revealed and people can vote for the finalists until mid-October, and then the winners will be announced on November 11th. But the main reason why I'm not covering the People's Choice Awards anymore is that I'm just not excited for them. I never really had as much excitement for them as I did for the Oscars or the Emmys or the Golden Globes or the Tonys. You know, I wanted to cover them because I was interested in how they would nominate various shows and movies across all the various categories, and I was curious to see what they thought the people would most like, or what people were most excited to see, since they're technically the ones that pick, although I think in this case E! Picked the whole first group of nominees, and then everything else is determined by the people's vote. But I just haven't really been excited for them in years past as I have been before for all the other stuff, just because the nominees aren't always as great as everything else, and I understand why. They focus more on popular things because they want what gets the most attention to get nominated and to possibly win. But of course, the thing that's the most popular isn't always the best quality. And I know everyone's taste in film and TV and music is different, and one person's trash is another person's treasure, and vice versa. But, you know, I'm not like a complete snob or hipster and think, oh, I only love independent, small films and TV shows and albums. You know, I like a lot of independent stuff, but I like a lot of mainstream stuff too. I don't really draw a line and say I'll consume this but not consume that. But I do kind of tend to lean more towards the independent artistic side because I think they take more creative risks that pay off. And I'm usually, and I know that they're pretty much never going to be covered on the People's Choice Awards. And as a result, when I've made my videos about voting for the People's Choice Awards, you may recall that in several instances I would skip over categories entirely because I didn't feel comfortable picking something I hadn't actually seen or heard. And in some instances I would go through a category and I would openly admit I had only seen or heard one or two of the nominees, and so I would pick that nominee simply because it was the only one I was familiar with. And looking back on it, I don't really think that was fair, because you know, because anyone voting for a category should have seen at least half of the nominees before voting, in my opinion. You know, because if you've only seen one or two things, then you really haven't gotten a sense of all the nominees in that category. And also, in the past, I've never really enjoyed reporting on the winners because the winners have often been stuff that I didn't vote for, or worse, stuff that I didn't like, and makes me wonder how the hell do people like that enough for it to win? And I'm not trying to be bitter or come across as a sore loser. It's just that when it comes to the People's Choice Awards, a lot of the things that win are often things that, while a lot of people love, a lot of other people also passionately hate. Like, for instance, The Big Bang Theory always winning favorite comedy series year after year after year. Sure, a lot of people love that show, but a lot of people also passionately hate it too, and you can go on YouTube and find a ton of videos from people about why they think The Big Bang Theory is basically the worst show of all time. Now, it's different, though, when it comes to shows like the Oscars or the Golden Globes, because even when something that I wasn't rooting for wins, I very rarely feel angry that it won, because the other thing that won over what I wanted to win is usually still pretty good nonetheless. So it's not like I can be angry about it winning. There's a few exceptions here and there, like Suicide Squad winning Best Makeup and Hairstyling over Star Trek Beyond. That legitimately made me angry because of how bad of a movie Suicide Squad was. And yeah, the makeup was decent, but was it on par with Star Trek Beyond? Absolutely not. But with the People's Choice Awards, just a lot of the winners are winners that you wonder why people liked them enough for them to not only be nominated but win. I know part of it could be most people haven't seen as many movies or TV shows as I have, so therefore I'm more aware of what's good and what's bad, at least in my opinion. I admit part of that could be because of that, but still, it makes you wonder sometimes. Like, for instance, for this year's People's Choice Awards, 50 Shades Freed got several movie nominations, and I'm like, really? Yeah, I'm sure there's some fans of the books who might have loved the movie, but most people who've either never read the books or read and hated the books and then went and saw the movie, they pretty much hated it as much as the critics did. So it makes, and as a result, it makes me realize that the only reason why it was nominated is just because it made a lot of money at the box office. And I always hate it when films that are nominated just for making a lot of money at the box office, and it's one of the reasons why I'm glad the Oscars are not going through with their Best Popular Film category, because why should a movie be honored just simply for how much money it's made at the box office? Some people will say, well, a movie that made a lot of money at the box office is automatically a success. Yes, it's a financial success, but it's not a quality success. You can make a film be financially successful like any of the Transformers movies or 50 Shades of Grey movies, but most critics would say, despite all the money they make, they're not worth watching because they have terrible production values, acting, writing, directing, etc. And the People's Choice Awards basically says, we don't care about all that, we just want what makes the most money, what gets the most ratings, what sells the most albums, And plus, the People's Choice Awards just have a lot of ridiculous categories. It's one thing to have all the favorite movie, TV show, music categories, that's fine. But now we're venturing into things like favorite viral YouTube video and favorite celebrity Instagram account and favorite social media animal star. Now, I realize there could be worse categories than that, but still, why are these categories even created? Is it just to draw in more ratings? Just to be clickbait? It's probably both, and I hate things that are desperate and clickbaity, and I don't like supporting things like that. And I realize, and when I myself was voting for those types of categories for past People's Choice Awards videos, I was thinking in the back of my head, this is so stupid. Why am I doing this? And then the last major reason why I'm not going to be covering the People's Choice Awards is the show itself. I'll admit watching the show every year was kind of a chore for me because sometimes they'd get good hosts and other times not so much, but the show itself just felt forced. Like, it was only 2 hours long, which I guess is kind of understandable since there's no way they can present every single category in a short amount of time. But it always seems as if they told all the people oh, you're going to win, so show up because we'll show you on TV. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what it was, because I've read a lot of reports about these fan-voted award shows over the years, like the People's Choice Awards, the Teen Choice Awards, the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards, the MTV Movie and TV Awards. I've often read that one of the reasons why they'll show certain categories on the air and others not on the air is because they sometimes tell the winners in advance, oh, you've won your category, so show up and we'll show you on TV. And this isn't just some like crazy conspiracy theory. Some celebrities have even admitted on social media that they were called in advance by an award show producer telling them they had won a category and that they were going to be shown on TV if they showed up. And usually most celebrities don't say these things, but a couple of years ago there was an instance in which someone posted a thing from the end credits of the Teen Choice Awards, and it showed the disclaimer saying basically producers had the right to pick the winners even if that person didn't get the most votes in their category. And that ended up going viral, and there were all these articles about, are all fan-voted award shows rigged? And some celebrities came forward and said, oh yeah, they told me I was the winner a week before the show, and that I had to keep quiet about it, etc., etc. And I saw that, and, you know, thinking back to that, I've been wondering, you know, how often is that applied to the People's Choice Awards too? You know, that was the Teen Choice Awards where these rigging accusations were taking place, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at other award shows too. Now, I'm just talking specifically about the fan-voted award shows. I'm not talking about the Golden Globes, the Oscars, or the Emmys, because those are completely different. See, the People's Choice Awards and the Teen Choice Awards and all these other fan award shows, all the nominees are always decided by producers of the network that is airing the show. And these producers, they pick these nominees, or they offer the people to pick the nominees because they think, well, this will generate a lot of ratings, or at least big ratings for the type of show that it is, because they know that these shows are never going to get the same type of ratings that the Oscars get. And so the producers of the show pick the nominees and then have the people vote. And that's why you always have the nominees that make serious film and TV lovers like myself go, what? Really? Although I really need to stop being surprised by the type of nominees they pick at this point. And because they're concerned about ratings, I think they feel it gives them the power to pick a winner even if they didn't get the most votes. But again, I'm just going based on what people have said. I'm not going on my own personal knowledge because I don't work in Hollywood and I've never met any behind-the-scenes people and I haven't seen anything with my own eyes. So I'm not going to go too deep into this just because I don't have all the facts to build a concrete case like that. You don't necessarily have to worry about rigging for the big award shows like the Oscars, Emmys, or Golden Globes because their nominations are done completely different. Unlike fan-voted award shows like the Oscars and the Emmys are decided on by Hollywood themselves because the voting groups for those award shows are members of the film industry, actors, writers, directors, producers, etc. So they fill out their ballots, send them in, and then they have accountants, professional accountants, tally up all the votes. And then the accountants will take what gets the most votes in every category and say, these are the official nominees. And because it's the industry voting, that way you can see not only those that we expect to get nominations, but also some genuine surprises that we didn't see coming at all. Like earlier this year, Kelly Jenrette got a nomination for Guest Actress for The Handmaid's Tale at the Emmys, and almost no one was predicting her to get a nomination, but it's clear that people in the industry saw her performance, and then she got enough votes to get a nomination. And when it comes to the winners are not picked by the general public and then brought on by the producers in order to increase ratings. For the Oscars, the Emmys, and all the other serious award shows, the industry members themselves vote for the winners too, based on their own nominations. And then their winning ballots get sent to the accountants who tally up the votes, and then a team of only 3 or 4 people count these ballots, and then they determine who is the winner based on who got the most votes. So it's a simple plurality vote, regardless of whether or not they're the most popular person in the room. Because sometimes we may see expected wins that we've seen at previous award shows, but then we may see unexpected wins like Mark Rylance's surprise Oscar win for Bridge of Spies over the frontrunner Sylvester Stallone for Creed. And plus, the accountants, while they know who the winners are in advance, they don't tell anybody else, not even the show's producers. So therefore, the producers have no idea who's going to win. Whereas at the fan-voted award shows, the producers already know who wins before the show even starts. Whereas with the Oscars, the Emmys, etc., the only people who know who the winners are before they're announced on air are the 3 or 4 accountants themselves and no one else. So yeah, I've basically been rambling on, and if I've been getting too rambly, then I'm sorry, but basically the main reasons why I'm not going to cover the People's Choice Awards are that I've never really had fun covering them. I've never seen or heard enough of the nominees in every category. I've never really had fun watching the show or reporting about it. I've never really liked the winners because a lot of them weren't necessarily just ones I disagreed with, but ones that were generally criticized for not being high-quality programs in the first place. And also just because the nominees are always created by producers solely for the purpose of ratings and not for quality, whereas award shows decided on by actual industry people like the Oscars and the Emmys are judged primarily based on quality, even if they are not the most popular with audiences. If you're disappointed in me not covering the People's Choice Awards anymore, I'm sorry, but I just don't really have the heart to do it anymore. I'd rather just focus on all the important award shows like the Oscars. And since I'm not going to be covering the People's Choice Awards anymore, that means I won't have to make as many videos, because making and editing and uploading these videos can be quite a time-consuming task. You know, especially since I'm someone who doesn't make videos for a living, I just do this kind of for fun. I'm not a professional YouTuber like Jeremy Johns or Chris Stuckman, because YouTube is their full-time job, but for me, it's not. Anyway, that's all I can really say at this point. If you still want to leave your own comments about the People's Choice Awards, whether you like them or hate them, especially in regards to this year's nominees, you can certainly do so in the comments. And you can, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can click the subscribe button as well as the little bell so that you can get notifications of my videos when they come out. And stay tuned sometime in the near future when I will be posting my video on the winners and ceremony for the Emmy Awards, because oh boy, do I have quite a lot to say about that. So hopefully that will be coming out a few days after this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.